Imagine this. You're standing in front of a woman who seems completely out of your league. She's confident, she's attractive, she's used to getting attention. But somehow, she looks at you differently. Not like you're just another man trying to impress her, but like you're someone she can't quite figure out. Someone she's genuinely curious about. What if I told you that attraction isn't always about looks, money, status, or the perfect words? Sometimes it comes down to something much deeper. Human psychology. The emotions we create, the confidence we carry, and the way we respond when things don't go exactly as planned. Most men focus on trying to impress a woman. They talk more, they chase harder, they try to prove their value. But the man who truly stands out doesn't need to prove anything. He understands his own value, and he knows how to stay calm when others lose control. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Think about that for a moment. You can't control someone's feelings. You can't control whether someone chooses you, and you certainly can't force attraction. But you can control yourself, your reactions, your boundaries, your purpose, your presence. And that self-control is where real confidence begins. This isn't about manipulating women. It's not about playing games. It's about understanding human nature and becoming a man who doesn't lose himself while trying to gain someone's attention. Because when you stop chasing approval, you start developing something far more powerful: self-respect. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your mind is filled with desperation, your behavior will reveal it. But if your mind is built around purpose, discipline, and self-respect, people will feel that difference. And that's where attraction begins. So let's explore 5 psychological principles that can completely change the way you approach attraction, not as tricks, not as manipulation, but as lessons in confidence, emotional control, and self-mastery. Principle 1. Emotional contrast. Most men believe attraction is simply about being nice, being available, always agreeing, always saying the right thing. But there's a problem. If every interaction feels exactly the same, there's nothing memorable about it. Human beings remember emotions. They remember moments that made them laugh, think, feel, wonder. A great conversation isn't just about exchanging information. It's about creating an experience. That's why stories are powerful. That's why humor works. That's why confidence matters. And that's why a man who has his own personality stands out. You don't need to agree with everything she says. You don't need to argue either. Simply have your own perspective. If you disagree, say so calmly. If you have a different opinion, express it. You are not trying to win. You're simply showing that you have a mind of your own. Think about the people who have made the biggest impression on you. Were they completely predictable? Probably not. They had something different, a unique personality, a strong presence, a way of making you think. That's what emotional contrast really means. Not chaos, not manipulation, simply being authentic enough to create memorable interactions. And when someone associates you with positive emotions, they naturally become more interested in knowing you better. Principle 2. Strong boundaries. Here's something many people misunderstand about confidence. Confidence isn't being loud, it isn't acting dominant, and it certainly isn't trying to control someone else. Real confidence is knowing what you will and will not accept. A man with strong boundaries doesn't say yes to everything just to keep someone happy. He values his time, his goals, his friendships, his responsibilities, and his self-respect. Imagine you're dating someone. At first, everything feels great. You're always available, you reply instantly, you cancel your own plans whenever she wants to meet. You constantly try to keep her happy. You might think you're showing how much you care, but slowly you begin losing yourself. And that's the real problem. Healthy attraction doesn't require you to abandon your identity. A healthy relationship should add to your life, not replace it. So if someone cancels a plan, you don't need to become angry, you don't need to beg, and you don't need to chase. Simply stay calm, respect their decision, and continue living your own life. That is emotional strength. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future." When you stop depending on someone's approval, you become emotionally stronger, and that strength changes the way you communicate. Principle 3. The power of mystery. Think about your favorite movie. What keeps you watching? Usually, it's the unanswered question. What happens next? Who can you trust? How will the story end? Mystery creates curiosity. But mystery doesn't mean playing childish games. It doesn't mean intentionally ignoring someone. Real mystery comes from having a life that isn't completely centered around another person. You don't need to reveal everything about yourself in the first conversation. Let people discover you naturally. Share your stories over time. Let conversations develop. And most importantly, don't feel the need to constantly prove how much you like someone. When you're comfortable with yourself, you don't rush. You don't panic when someone takes a little longer to respond. You don't immediately assume something is wrong. You remain calm, because your emotional stability doesn't depend on a notification appearing on your phone. That's real confidence. Not pretending not to care, but knowing that your life continues either way. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That's a powerful lesson. You can't control another person's behavior, but you can control your response to it, and that control gives you freedom. Principle 4. Decisive leadership. Another quality that naturally creates confidence is decisiveness. Many people are afraid of making decisions because they're afraid of making the wrong one. So they constantly ask, "What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What should we do?" There's nothing wrong with asking for someone's opinion, but sometimes take initiative, make a suggestion, choose a restaurant, plan an activity. Say, "Let's try this place. I think you'll enjoy it." That's leadership, not control, not domination, leadership. And leadership doesn't only apply to dating, it applies to your entire life. Do you know where you're going? Do you have goals? Are you building something? Are you making decisions for yourself? Because a man with direction naturally carries himself differently. He doesn't need permission to have ambitions. He doesn't need everyone to approve of his choices. He listens, he learns, and then he decides. Epictetus taught, "No great thing is created suddenly." Leadership is built through small decisions, every day, every choice, every challenge. Over time, those decisions become character, and character becomes presence. Principle 5. Don't make someone your entire world. This may be the most important lesson of all. Never make another person responsible for your happiness. A relationship should be part of your life, not the entire meaning of your life. Many people make this mistake. They meet someone they really like, and suddenly everything else disappears. Friends become less important, goals become less important, work becomes less important, personal growth becomes less important. Their entire world begins revolving around one person. And that's dangerous, not because the other person is bad, but because you've stopped investing in yourself. You need your own mission, your own interests, your own friendships, your own ambitions, your own identity. A relationship should complement that life. It shouldn't replace it. When you are building something meaningful, you become more confident, more fulfilled, more independent, and ironically, that makes you a much better partner. Because you're no longer entering a relationship from desperation, you're entering it from choice. You don't need someone to complete you. You need someone who can walk beside you,
while both of you continue becoming better versions of yourselves. That's the difference between attachment and healthy connection. So, how do you apply everything we've talked about? First, build emotional depth. Don't focus only on saying the perfect words. Create meaningful conversations. Tell stories. Laugh. Listen. Be present. Second, create healthy boundaries. Know your priorities, respect your own time, and don't abandon your values just because you want someone's approval. Third, don't rush. Let people discover you naturally. You don't need to reveal your entire personality in one conversation. Give relationships room to develop.
Fourth, be decisive. Take initiative. Make plans. Have direction. But always respect the other person's freedom and choices. And fifth, keep your mission. Never abandon your purpose for a relationship. Build a life that you're proud of. A life that has meaning, with or without a partner. And remember, none of this is about manipulating anyone. The goal isn't to control someone's emotions. The goal is to control your own. That's the real Stoic lesson. You don't become powerful by controlling other people. You become powerful by mastering yourself. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly." You won't become confident overnight. You won't build emotional strength in a single day. And you won't suddenly become the person you want to be. It happens through repetition, through discipline, through small choices, every single day. So, if you're struggling with attraction, don't immediately assume that something is wrong with you. Maybe you're simply missing direction. Maybe you're giving too much attention to someone else and not enough attention to yourself. Maybe you're trying too hard to be liked, instead of becoming someone you genuinely respect. The answer isn't to become someone else. It's to become more fully yourself, with clarity, with purpose, with discipline, and with quiet confidence. You don't need to chase. You don't need to manipulate. You don't need to prove your worth. Build yourself. Build your life. Develop your mind. Strengthen your character. And let your actions speak for you. Because the strongest man isn't the man who controls everyone around him. He's the man who can control himself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. So choose your thoughts carefully. Choose your habits carefully. Choose the kind of man you want to become. Because eventually, your thoughts become your actions. Your actions become your habits. And your habits become your character. Become that man. Build that life. And watch how everything around you begins to change." If you found this video valuable, subscribe to the channel for more insights into psychology, Stoicism, relationships, and mastering the mind. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Stay sharp, stay focused, and remember, you don't need to prove your worth. You need to live it. See you in the next one.